Welcome to Limberg 131 News. I'm Michelle Garcia, and today we are going to be covering the history of women in the workplace and in politics. We will be covering topics that date as far as from the 1920s and the 1950s, and comparing to today's current events. It is important that we compare these time periods as these were crucial events for women in America. Today we have reporter Ashley Carmichael on the field interviewing students at Cal State San Marcos about today's events. Ashley, are you ready?
We're all set here. Today I will be interviewing some students here at Cal State San Marcos, where we hope to gain some perspective on the events in history that have taken place in regards to women. According to the source, Impact of the Depression on Men's Self-Esteem, many men during the Great Depression lost their jobs, and women maintained their jobs because they worked for lower pay. This caused a change in the family dynamic while men stayed at home and women were off at work. How has the role of women in the workforce changed? Are there still several stigmas that affect the role that women play? And are women still inclined to be stay-at-home moms while men are off to provide for the family?
I think that the role of women in the workforce has changed because women, they have more higher jobs. They have the exact same jobs as men, and obviously workplaces have improved their environment, so they're not as dangerous as in the past. Unfortunately, women still do not get paid as much as the men do still, even though they have the exact same jobs.
Women in the workforce from during the Great Depression and now has changed a little bit from the money that they get during their work hours, but not significantly, as women are still earning lower salary than men are. But overall, I would say that women earning lower wage does make an impact, that women are trying to make a statement to go ahead and work, but they also want to try to prove that they can do exactly what men can do.
I feel like the role of women in the workplace has changed greatly compared to when it has back then. I feel like nowadays women have more opportunity to progress and climb on a higher status in the workplace, such as being managers or CEOs.
I do believe that there are some men still out there who still have the thought that women need to stay home and cook and clean and take care of the children. Although in this day and age, I know sometimes people, for my personal experience, my dad makes enough money to where my mom can stay at home, to where she can take care of everything there. She doesn't mind it, but I do know that she would like to go out and do more than what's needed at home.
Women may feel inclined to stay at home and provide for their families, but nowadays it is evident that men also have to stay at home. The roles are switched now, that men can stay at home, but it shouldn't matter if women or men go to work per se. Sometimes women decide for the man to go to work because they will receive a higher pay wage than women.
I feel like the general idea of a man staying home and providing for his family is still a big concept. But I think it has improved a lot compared to what it has back then, because women now are able to go and find their own jobs and provide for themselves and also for the families if there is no man involved.
That is excellent, thank you. Now moving on. According to the source, How Shall We Change the Law by Margaret Sanger, she was a huge advocate for birth control and Planned Parenthood. She was a key role in the development of the birth control pill. At this time, in 1919, physicians were allowed to distribute contraceptives only in cases that it would cure or prevent diseases. There have been recent incidents and problems with birth control that have been seen on the news and is currently associated with politics. How has this continued to affect the way that women are supposed to have rights to their own bodies?
I do think that these are still issues that are seen in the news because they're always showing the protests outside of the Planned Parenthood facilities. Even as a student at Cal State San Marcos, we're exposed to a bunch of pro-life posters and stuff. Every single semester there's a person that comes in and puts up these huge billboards of kind of disturbing photos of unborn babies, and they're just always yelling at you and trying to pass out flyers, and it's just something that I feel like we just won't ever escape.
Being a student here at Cal State San Marcos, I believe that it's important to have whatever resources available to all students. Birth control being a big part of that, being college students here at campus, I think it's important to take care of that as women, as well as it should be our right if we would want to take it or not. Birth control gives women the right to go ahead and be in charge of their bodies for once.
I feel like accessibility to birth control is still an issue today, as I know that they're trying to crack down and limit our ability to get those contraceptives.
It is easy to see that this is still a troubling topic. Now, last question. According to the source, The Trouble with Women, women are portrayed as incapable of carrying on tasks, demanding of unreasonable things, and as a major complication to the workplace. At this time in the 1950s, women were not often given opportunities to rise in the workplace. How does this video relate to how women are currently treated in the workplace? Are there any similarities or differences? If you yourself have held a job before, have you seen any differences in how women are treated as opposed to the men?
Well, that was a very interesting video. I don't know about this day and age compared to like that day and age, but it's really hard to believe that that's how men viewed women in the workplace, because I could be totally wrong, but like what I've seen like now is that men want women in their office working for them.
So after watching this video, it makes me wonder that the man in charge of the other man is able to understand the reasoning behind going ahead and hiring the woman, where this other man who is training the woman is questioning her abilities. I think it's important when you're picking out people to see that what's important of them is their qualifications and not who they are, man or woman.
I feel like Brad's opinion towards women was kind of offensive almost.
I think the differences between back then and now for women in the workplace has definitely changed. I think women are given higher positions sometimes, and I think that they're not really like frowned upon and are given more leeway in jobs. But I do think that they're headed in the right direction with women in the workplace.
Working in the workforce as a woman, I would say that it's definitely difficult to speak up and say what you need to be done.
My experience with working in retail, I work in a place that's mostly run by women, so I don't really see a difference in the way that men treat women at my store, even with customers.
Those are some great perspectives we got. I certainly enjoyed getting to know how each of these students felt. Back to you in the studio.
Well, Ashley, looks like you have gathered some great responses today. After today, we have observed that throughout the years, women have increasingly progressed their role in politics, although they continue to face several hardships as they did in the past. This regards their role in the workplace as well as in society. The various hardships that women continue to face include the right to exemplify their freedom of expression in regards to their body, and the roles that they are expected to have in the workplace, which continue to be a great issue today. We have had a great day of interviewing, and thank you for watching Limberg 131 News. I'm Michelle Garcia, and have a great rest of your day.
Thanks for watching!